welcome to the Sugar and Spikes podcast, a podcast for entrepreneurs, side hustlers, and anyone ready to uplevel their career in their own damn way. I'm Des. I'm a life coach for women who get that having it all sometimes means having to balance the good and the bad, the sugar and the spikes, and all the in-between.
And I'm Tammy. I'm a compassionate yet BS-free therapist, and I work with clients to help them build skills to lead kick-ass lives.
Between the two of us, we have 4 master's degrees and thousands of hours helping people develop balance, confidence, and clarity on their terms. So let's get started. I want to roll us into everything. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the podcast. We're super stoked to have you guys on.
Oh, thanks for having us. We appreciate the invite.
You.
Yeah, so just as an intro for everyone, why don't you tell us about Badassery and kind of the history behind it and who you guys are, all of the essential pieces.
Well, that's a loaded question.
Yeah. You know I don't do anything simple.
No pressure at all.
Yeah. So my name is Samantha Parker, and this is my co-founder of Badassery Magazine, Kathy Rasmussen.
Hello.
And basically, you know, we make up kind of like the front of Badassery Magazine, and a lot of the back, we're not gonna lie, and the middle and everything in between. So Badassery Magazine just really got started as we were looking, you know, to kind of provide a community for people at the time that were like us, that couldn't, you know, just felt like they really couldn't get like their voices seen and heard in this online world because it's a noisy space, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of just wanted to break the mold. Oh, do you remember, Kathy, we were originally going to call it Going Rogue?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. We wanted to break the mold. But luckily we settled on the name Badassery, and I think it's just meant to be.
Yeah, it was a fun experience. I mean, we had worked together, kind of growing our businesses together. We even started off our businesses by being each other's clients and trading services and just kind of being business besties.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Samantha had the idea to put the magazine together, I'm like, oh, ooh, that's a really cool idea. Do you want some help with that? and then after she sent me, from the time she sent me the text of, I want to start a magazine, to the first issue release was only 45 days. So we just like busted that thing out. It was awesome.
You know, I think that's kind of what's made Badassery so successful and so fun, is that we're really just are implementers. And I think that people sit on their ideas too much. And, you know, it's like, hey, you have the idea, just put it out. You know, they get afraid, they get scared. They're not sure how to put all the pieces together. They look at the big picture. And so if you just like break it down and you start like point one, it really makes things like just go out there and slay.
Mm-hmm. So you kind of started to touch on it, but one reason why I was so excited to have you guys specifically on is because you do come as a duo for the magazine. And I feel like there's a bit of a stigma out there in the entrepreneur world about working with someone like in more of an official capacity. Like you mentioned Biz Besties and stuff, which is something that I've seen tossed around. And like I do the life coaching thing, but Tammy is like been with me for Sugar and Spikes since the beginning. Like from the get-go.
Yeah.
But I know coaches that say, I don't work with people that have partners. Can you kind of talk about like if you've experienced any of that, or let's go with that piece first. Because I have like 20 questions.
I was like,
You're like so many questions.
I have all the questions right now.
Don't overwhelm them all at once.
well, as soon as you said that, I was like, well, that's stupid. It like went through my mind. Like, why would it matter? I think we're twice as nice. Plus, like, I have so many flaws and so many things that I'm just like, you know, and I also have tons of amazing things as well. But what's really great about it is I've noticed this too, like, I'm like, since you're recording this on a Friday, don't you feel like it's a little looser? I've noticed that, like, we switch off, like, having freakouts. Like I'll have a freak out, like, and I'll be like totally psycho, and Kathy will be like, what are you talking, like, you know, logically walks it through, and then Kathy will have a freak out and I'll be like, oh no, everything's fine, I'll just take this off the calendar, you know. And so, like, honestly, I know that's an extreme example, but like everyone has like complementing strengths and weaknesses. Kathy says it all the time, you know. And so there's just different things that we're good at, and then we're also able to master more, you know, because there's 2 of us. So it's like, you know, I was like, we've really got to get on the messenger bot train. So I took a while learning that. And then Kathy's like over here, you know, migrating us, like updating our website. and doing different things like that, So it's just crazy to me. Collaborations are so incredible if you can find the right collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they're really kind of lucky in a sense that we do, like Samantha and I really do have complementing strengths. And where she's really strong, I might not be quite so strong, but where I'm really strong, she might not be quite as strong. So we work really well together, and we also have really like our personalities work really well together, which is very important when you have a business partner. I think that it might be when like Samantha and I both have had coaches here and there, but we've always worked with our coaches kind of separately
Mm-hmm.
and just talked to each other about how we can start helping our business. I think that like right now I'm in a mastermind group, and Samantha's been in a mastermind group before and had personal coaches. And so the only reason I could think of a coach not wanting to work with a business partner is because they'll end up sharing that information with the other person. But that's how partnerships work. That's how businesses work together. So if you want to be successful in your business with a partner, you have to be talking to each other about it. You have to make strategic strategies together. You can't just have individual strategies to try to make a cohesive strategy for your business. So I mean, that's the only reason I could think about it. I don't know. Is that why would they say that?
So
I've never heard that before.
This specific person essentially just boiled it down to drama.
I mean, that's kind of like therapists who say, I will only work with an individual, and then never, ever, ever branches out or like advocates for their clients in any way.
Couples or something.
Yeah. Like I can understand not wanting to work with couples, but that doesn't mean that you never, ever, ever bring a partner in. You never, ever, ever like, it just doesn't work like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
I know.
I get not wanting the drama, but that just seems like you're just pigeonholing yourself like right away,
Yeah, and I think people that are worried about bringing drama in are usually typical addicted to some form of drama in their own life.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, that's just a thought. And I recognize too, there's different areas in my life where I'm addicted to the drama of it, just like a cocaine addict almost, But I think when people are like, no, I don't do that. I just think that's crazy to me because partnerships are one of the most amazing things. In fact, we have a lot of people in our space who are partnerships. The Design and Style Club, Dixie and Rachel are killing their partnership. And I know so many. And I just think it's smart because, I'm not going to sugarcoat this and act like it's all sunshine and rainbows over here. We put in a lot of fucking hard work to get where we're at. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't do it without a business partner. And either one of us couldn't do it without the team that we have working behind us as well.
Nice. What kind of characteristics do you think, or like what pieces would you maybe warn people to look out for in terms of considering working with someone?
Like
look out as far as maybe
like what would be a red flag when you're like, yeah, not you. Is that what you're saying?
I think that is has to kind of do on a personal level, but things that I would look for is lack of communication. That's a huge red flag because a partnership has to thrive on communication. I mean, really, Samantha and I pretty much talk all day long, every day on Slack. We're addicted to Slack, but it's also it's such a great collaboration tool because I mean, if you think about it, when you go to a physical building to work, you're usually talking to coworkers all day long. And especially if you work in a team environment, because we really thrive on a team environment. If you're used to working alone and you don't want to talk and you're in your little bubble and you can't play nice with others, and that to me is a red flag for not having a partner. I think also somebody just again, you have to look for people that have complementing strengths. So if they're too much like you and you can't get any of this other stuff done, then that's probably a red flag too.
I think for me, I would like red flags would be people who want to compete with you, whereas Kathy and I have grown together. We're not competing with each other, we're really just growing with each other. And if we were constantly competing with each other, that would be like a terrible relationship. I mean, it's just like, you don't want to compete with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, right? Like that would add for mass chaos. I mean, competition is fun, right? I like to get more steps in every day than my husband's going down, but like actually like competing to be more successful, like that's just toxic to me. And we got this from Gary Vaynerchuk, but he told us, one of the things he likes about us is that we're just building the biggest building and we're not tearing others down. And, I realized right off the bat, like, obviously to build the biggest building, I need people to build it with me, right? I might be really good at like putting the glass in, but I might have no idea how to like pour the foundation.
So true.
Yeah, sorry, Sam. I'm not a competitive person, so good thing you'll never get a competition out of me.
Yeah, like I love to win games. Like, oh my god, it's just, like sometimes I'm like, maybe I shouldn't play games. I love to win at sports, but I don't need to win the success will. We can share the pie.
Yeah, so you have a competitive drive, and yet you can collaborate too. And I think that that's really key for success in anything.
Yeah, Tammy had to actually teach me how to be not competitive in grad school. Like we've been friends since undergrad, and like I was always like, top of the class wins, all these things, and she's like, why? We're already here. Like it's fine.
Like we're already here, and we're all gonna get the same degree. If I get a B and you get an A, you worked harder for nothing.
True, that is true. It's not like you're like straight A's degree. You can write that on your wall.
Yeah, I worked so hard to get like straight A's in college. I think I ended up with like a 3.95 or 8.5. I can't remember because nobody's ever asked me again. But it was so important to me at the time. But this freaking diploma doesn't say shit on it.
Right? I know. There were so many people in grad school who were really competitive like that, and I'm just like, I don't understand why there is such thing as like good enough.
Well, I think that idea really hit home because like you hang out with like the level of people that you work with and function as, like you hang out with your crowd, right? And you're always bringing each other up. But like one of my professors in grad school was like, with this group here and with all of our applicants, pretty much we could have just like thrown darts and we would have had like the same numbers, like GPA, scores, all these things. Like it's really all the same at some point.
That was soul crushing. I was like, you know how hard I worked to get in here? And he's like, just throwing darts at the board.
Do you have any questions?
Oh,
sorry.
Put me on the spot.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been a long week. I'm sorry.
So, you put me on the spot. Now I don't have any questions because my mind went blank.
Mine did too.
Sorry, guys. It's been a really long week.
Dude, we podcast record. I don't know what it's going a lot, and this happens to us too. We're like, and our guest like, and I was like, oh my god, I even checked you out beforehand, and now I don't know what to say. Hold on. Like I had some key points written down. Yeah,
I know we had all these things. We're like, we'll talk about this, and then we'll talk about this, and I'm like, I had a 13-hour day yesterday, and I don't know.
One of the things we really love to talk about is our community.
That'd be great. Yeah. Facebook community, I'm assuming, or
we have
broader.
We're broader.
Cool.
But we really like Facebook.
Yeah. I mean, you did say you were like really community based, and Gary V was like, "You're building the biggest building." So yeah, let's roll with that.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that's made maybe we just have like a whole wall of all the things that's made us awesome. No, but
I mean, yeah,
right?
Why not? That's what I would say when I'm like, I can't believe I just said that, and I'm like, well, why not? We really, really love our community, and we didn't set out. We always say Badassery Magazine is more than just a magazine, right? Because we didn't set out like to have like just us standing on this soapbox. We set out to build the most badass community that you can find online, a community where you feel supported, a community where you can come in and talk about your business, because there's so many Facebook groups online, these communities that they're building, and they don't even allow people to talk about their businesses or their struggles, and they can only post links on Tuesdays, but it has to be like this, and then they like, I don't know, it's like this, I get really passionate about it,
Mm-hmm.
And so what we wanted to do is create like an inclusive community for female entrepreneurs who feel like they're struggling and they don't know where to come, or if they're on top of the world, come in and tell us too, So that's what we really set out to do, is build a community, and we've done it. It's not all about us. It's really about them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we, in fact, like our whole magazine is all community generated, I guess, not necessarily the right word, but all of our articles come from the community. We put community members on the cover of our magazine. We highlight them on our blog posts. We let people promote in our Facebook group. I mean, it's all really about the people in our group. And luckily, they enjoy us too, because otherwise, then it's good for our business too. But I think that that's what makes people love hanging out with Badassery Magazine so much, is because they get to feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. And I think that's what I think that sense of belonging is where people really struggle, because everyone's looking for that, right? So if they can feel that, and they feel that with a really fun group of women who are supportive and empowering and celebrate them for who they are, then I think that's why Badassery Magazine is so popular with our community.
Yeah, it's so like warm and such a welcoming environment. Like, come hang out, share, and be part of it, rather than somebody kind of wielding power over them.
I was gonna say what I love about it, because I'm in the group and I was a sponsor. Like, I love the Badassery community, like, as a whole. Is there is really no gatekeeper, and it's very like communal. And when you do flip through the magazine, it is actually other people, because there are other folks that are out there and making things where it's like this person gets one word and then the rest is me. So I think you guys have done a really fantastic job of putting others really ahead of the brand and letting that kind of be the brand.
Yeah, I love that statement. We should write that down, because really that's what it is like, we've made others the brand. We've made the community the brand. So I just love it. And, I think too, a lot of people resonate with Badassery, and the fact that building an online business might not seem like a traditional model, and Badassery is not like a traditional word that some people like to throw around. And so they can really just kind of step into their power, and to us, badass isn't like being an asshole or, hanging out at biker bars, which is cool too,
Don't get us wrong.
Yeah,
that's your thing.
I love a good trashy bar, but I love a good high class bar as well. But like, it's just, I feel like it's just real, and it's raw, and it's genuine. And Kathy and I every day just put our best foot forward, and we share our struggles, our ups, our downs, our highs, our lows, because we want everyone to know that like, we're just like you. We're not, a fake flat lay, or not a pretty pose edited photo, like, we're just real people, and we've got kids and crazy shit going on, and balance doesn't really exist, and we're just figuring it out as we go, and we just constantly act on our ideas, and we just are always moving forward. But there's a lot of shit that doesn't work for us.
Hey guys, Des here, popping in with a quick message. Have you been feeling really fucking stressed and not able to focus on the things you've got to do? I get it, we've all been there. That's why I made a totally free video training with 3 quick and easy tricks to chill out and be present so you can get shit done. So go to DesireeW.com and click on Slay Your Stress to get the training, because you've got better things to do than be stressed. You talked about the fact that you guys are implementers, so have you seen like the things that don't work? Was your experience like, oh, we tried it and oh, hey, that blew up in our face, or... Yeah,
sometimes. There's been
definitely been that.
I think there's things that work really well, and we're like, let's do that again, and then it doesn't work the second time. So we do a lot of experimentation, and we're always trying to find things that work. And then, but what we do find when it does work, and what we do is, because we have this community, is we turn around and we share it with our community. So we want to make sure that they have the tools and they have the resources that they can leverage, so they can help incorporate those things that do work in their business. I mean, we both built our businesses from zero, starting with nothing and knowing nothing, and not how to start an online business, and worked together and learned along the way and did a lot of experimentation, and now that we've found found our foothold and it's taking off and growing really fast, then we want to share those little knowledge bombs with everybody.
Yeah, because prior to Badassery, Kathy and I had both built separate online businesses that were very successful. And then we kind of had Badassery as like this glorified side hobby, that we each loved, and we kept coming back to it. And so we were like, it's really great now just to be like, yes, Badassery is like my life, my veins. It always has been. And so we just always kept coming back to it. And so that's like a lot of our growth too, has been our attention to it. And when you say like failures and setbacks, I would hate to ever be like, don't do this. Because it might totally work for somebody. Mm-hmm. But I really think the only thing that will guarantee it is consistency. And it's like you're just consistent every single day. Every day I have been consistent for 3 years, and that's what's guaranteeing the success. And it doesn't matter if, the one day the consistency that I put up was a failure. It doesn't matter, because the next day I'll be back.
Mm. I love that.
I love that too. Mm-hmm. And I also love that like your niche, and it's not even the right word for it, but like your niche is like everybody's included, and there's room for everybody on the playing field, and like we're gonna rise and you're gonna rise with us, because it's all about that community.
Well, I think that's something that you guys have done so amazingly well, is not niche. Like, I've gone off on so many tangents about like, fuck your niche, like it's bullshit. But when you guys were developing Badassery, did you have those types of conversations? Like, were you looking to narrow it down, or talk to us about that?
I think it's always been an idea that it should include, it's a lifestyle. So that was one of the first things that Samantha said, this is part of the Badassery lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And each of us, I mean, the closest we get to a niche is like online business owners, like female online business owners. But other than that, we want to showcase and share things that are interesting to every aspect of that online business owner's life, because ultimately you're living Badassery. It's not just one thing that you do. Like, it's lots of things.
Yeah. And there's been a few times where I'm like, because you'll see a lot of, experts throwing things around, like, you have to have a niche. Like, you should just be talking to this one person. I had a coach who wouldn't quite harping me on it. And I was like, I'm not going to do it, But the only thing is, like, this year we had the discussion of, should we eliminate the word female and be like, male and female? And they just said, no, like, men are 100% welcome in our space. Like, I have a supportive husband. Kathy has a supportive husband. There are so many cool dudes that we know that are just like badasses in business, and they're even hanging out in Badassery, But I just said, it's really like, for me, I really want to empower women to change their lives. And right now it's like more important than ever. And so this year we had the discussion that we're just going to stick female, and I 100% back that. And we're not going to, dabble anymore. We're just going to be like, we're for female business owners, because like, ladies, like, sometimes they need permission, and we just want to eliminate that, where there's no longer the need for permission. And that's why I have the poster on my wall: empowered women empower women. And Kathy and I are both very empowered women. Like, put me on a box, dude, I'll talk forever. I'll change your life, And I'm here to empower other women, and that's what we're doing through Badassery.
Yeah, it's fun because we get to meet a lot of female business owners that are doing the same thing. Like, right now, I'm in the process of doing a lot of interviews with female founders and female CEOs, because we're going to have our whole March issue is going to be dedicated to female founders. And so getting to know them and getting to hear their stories and learn like how they've built these incredible businesses. I mean, we're talking to like people who started wineries and breweries and fashion
empires.
Empire, yeah, exactly. And I mean, and even like software tech startups, and it's just so cool to hear all the varied backgrounds of these women who are doing such incredible things, and to think that it's like we're part of this movement, of this awakening of like, we don't have to have permission to be really cool, empowered CEOs of major companies anymore. It's like, this is our time.
I was like, yes, I love that, Kathy. One of my other missions too is to like, I get so tired of people asking me how I balance like my kids and my work days. And I asked my husband, I'm like, do you guys sit around and talk about how hard it is to be a dad and balance going to work every day and your side hobbies? And he's like, I've never, not once.
Never.
Not once. And so I'm like, it's time to shift that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's also time to have women stop apologizing for having to be a mom and a business owner. Like, I've been on so many conference calls where I'm talking with another woman and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I've got my kids home today. And like, I got my kids home every day, but I'm not going to apologize for that. That's part of my life and it's okay. It is okay to have children and be a business owner at the same time. There's no need for explanation. So, I mean, I just think that it's time that we stop apologizing for being a woman and just own it and be awesome, be badasses.
So I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I have to ask. Thoughts on the girl boss, boss lady trend hashtag stuff? Because there's kind of split camps.
Yeah, I know some people that absolutely hate it. It doesn't bother me because I really like hashtag Girlboss because I'm a huge fan of Sophia Amoruso. Am I saying that right? Like, I'm a huge fan of what she did, what she started. Like, she's inspired so many other women, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so is it that big of a deal that we say Girlboss? Because I can't tell you how many times I've said the Good Boys Club. Oh, the old, you know, the good old boys club, or you know what I mean? And so it's just, you know, it's the same thing as when I say fuck and people don't like it. I'm like, you're giving a lot of power to a word. So is it that big of, you know, I think it'd be really, wouldn't it feel really weird though if it was like hashtag man boss? Like, I don't know. I think the less power, hashtag like dick CEO. I don't know. I can't think of anything, but it's like the more power and the more attention you give to something, the stupider it is. Like, if, you know, hashtag Girlboss is empowering tons of women to come out of like their virtual womanhood closet where they think they should just, you know, be this cute little wife and a mom or whatever it is, or they're not powerful enough, then fuck yeah, use it all you want, you know? I don't know. That's like, I'm on the fence. Doesn't bother me. I have other things to do with my time.
Well, I love that, right? Like, do what's empowering, right? That's all about, like, work that I do with clients is about, like, what's empowering for you, and what might work for one client doesn't work for another, which is why I'm not in the business of providing them answers, but helping them find their own answers. And it sounds like you guys do that in exactly the same way, just in this whole different kind of approach. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's like, if you want to say fempreneur, it's like, you know, that's why I settled on the fact that it's absolutely 100% okay for us to just say that we're for female entrepreneurs, you know, is because, sorry, but like, it's a fucking fact. Like, women need the support right now. So if these movements are going to give them support, then like, hell yeah, I'd put on the little pussy hat and march.
Nice.
Your passion is really contagious, I think.
Yeah,
it is. She gets me riled up all the time.
Okay, so having both started successful online businesses and launched an amazing magazine, Badassery, what advice would you have for someone that was like thinking about it, or like what preconceived notion would you just smash?
That it's, well, probably that they have to do everything at once. Wouldn't you agree, Kathy?
Yeah, I think that sometimes, well, that and the if you build it, they will come mentality, that's a myth. So I think it can be really overwhelming to want to start a business and you've got all these big grandiose ideas and you're thinking it's just like this. And then the reality of it is like, oh crap, what do I do to start? And I don't know what to do because I want to get all this done and it has to be perfect and it has to be, you know, just exactly how I envision it. And I think that if you can let go a little bit of the perfection, I mean, have the vision, but let go a little bit of the exact what it is going to end up looking like and just start working at it little by little and letting it grow organically in some ways, then it starts growing into something really, really cool. And doing it a step at a time and just constantly moving forward, I think that makes it a lot not quite as overwhelming. Obviously there's lots more that goes into building business than just, you know, saying you just do it step by step. That's, you know, the easy answer. Sure. But I think that when you only focus on building your business and you don't focus on building your community, I think that's why a lot of business owners get frustrated, and because they're not making sales and they're not making any money and they have to go get a job. And it's because you're only focused on you and you're not focused on your customers or your audience or your clients. When you expand that and start focusing on them and not so much on you, I mean, have your products and be able to sell them something, but focus on your community, because that's where your success lies. That's what allows you to start bringing in revenues, because you have to have customers to sell to, right? Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of business owners, when they first get into it, they're so worried about their website and their brand and their packages they're going to sell and their, and their sales sheet and their funnel and all this stuff, that they forget about their community or building one or talking to their audience, that then it all just kind of collapses on them. So I think that's probably the number one, I think I would say.
Yeah, and I think the reason that people get like that too is because they start looking around, right? So they might look at us and be like, "Oh my God, their website's spot on. Their they have this magazine, they have this podcast, and like all these like moving pieces." And you get really overwhelmed. You're like, "Oh my God, my website is a landing page, and I like used a font. I didn't even buy my own font." Like all this crazy stuff starts happening. And so it's like, if you'll just put your goddamn head down and just do the work, like one step at a time, and not be looking around at the girl with a million Instagram followers, and not looking at someone with like flew to Paris to have this fashion shoot and has like this whole team of web designers. It's like, stop looking around at that stuff and just look at what is right in front of you. Kathy taught me this: put out your MVP, your minimum viable product, and every day just get a little better and a little better.
Awesome.
So stop comparing and connect with human beings.
And do the damn thing.
And do the work.
Yes.
Awesome.
That's a great synopsis. Yes.
Perfect. All right. What our listeners need to know? How can they get a hold of you? Are you guys launching anything coming up that
we just air?
It'll be in mid-February.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say that you can find us at our website at badasserymag.com, and you can join our Facebook group. It's called We Are Badassery. And we just launched our new courses page on our website. So we have a full library of just very inexpensive courses. They start at $12, so you can get your knowledge on without, breaking the bank. And those are really fun. You can find those on our website.
Yeah. So if you just go to our website, badasserymag.com, you can also find us all over social media at Badassery Mag. If you just go to our website, you can click right there. You can join the Facebook group. There's like tons of, blog posts that you can read. Like, we really are there to help you get started. And then we also have stuff that we do periodically, like Badassery Academy, that's like really like, to launch it to the next level. So we really want to help everybody at different phases that they're at in their business, in the best way that we can. And sometimes when you're just starting out, a $12 course on like how to set up email automation is just what you need, or a $12 mindset course or something, but then maybe you're like, hey, it's just a whole $57 course here. And then at some point you're going to just like, as your business grows, that's when your investment level grows and you come in at different levels. And so, yeah, but honestly, like, just come hang out with us in our Facebook group. We Are Badassery. It's pretty damn fun. Listen to our podcast. We're a riot, I think. No, I don't know.
Their group is really fucking fabulous. Like, I'll say it. I'm in there all the time. I love it. So.
I think we should start like just drinking more wine on our podcast, like
I think we should. We need to. That's on the list of things to do, is have a wine cast.
Yeah,
I love it. All right, Sam, Kathy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. You're such inspiring women. I really enjoy talking with you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Make sure you take that inspiration and you spread it to other women that you know.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
That wraps up this episode of the Sugar and Spikes podcast. Thanks so much for listening. We'd also like to thank Forget the Whale for use of their song Move Along as our theme music. If you like this episode, be sure to subscribe, share, and let the whole world know how good this shit is by leaving a review. It would mean so, so, so much.
Also, don't forget to get your free stress layer training by going to DesireeW.com and clicking on Slay Your Stress. You'll also find a link to that in the show notes below. Till next time, and remember to stay unavailable for fuckery.